Welcome to Domain Investing 101. That's Domain Investing 101 in case you're keeping track. We're going to talk about how to find premium domain names worth 5,000 plus for just like $10, just the cost to register the domain. I've done it for a number of years and I enjoy doing it just as sort of a hobby. I actually give away domains to people that can use them. We have a show on Sundays where we give away one domain name called Sunday Live. It's on our MassPage Tools YouTube channel, which is a growing channel, and we'd like to give away domains so that people can start their own businesses, and then gives me another spot to open up another domain and buy that and then get it to somebody. But a lot of the domains I get are hand registered. I sometimes will buy things on the wholesale market, and we'll talk about that coming up, but I do not pay retail prices for domains unless it's for a project that I'm building. So, all right, feel free to hold your questions till the end if you don't mind, and we'll have a few breaks that you can ask some questions and interact with us today. So who am I? Well, that's me. I'm Daryl Ledyard. I'm an entrepreneur, always have been, marketing consultant, and a MassPage expert. We have a website called mass.page, some of you guys are familiar with, and I've been a domain investor. So I look at domain investing differently than a lot of typical domain investors. I do it mostly for SaaS projects and for get domains for future projects and things like that. And then I kind of sell my inventory throughout the year, so I don't really have to pay for the domains. I keep inventory about 500 domains per year that I pay the fees on, and I always try to make sure that by the end of the year we've done enough sales that we've covered at least break-even point on the domain inventory that we have. So some years we do much better than the cost of the domain renewal fees, and then some years we're a little behind, but overall if you average it out, we're plus about $1,000 to $3,000 a year on top of what we're already paying for the domains. So that's how I look at it, but of course if I was more serious about it, I'll show you some tricks and tips that, you know, people that are more serious about it, how they can make millions of dollars literally with domaining. So all right, so about this webinar. Basically, I'm going to teach you how I grab catchy and resellable domains quickly and easily. I like these catchy resellable ones that are like brandable, as we like to call it. They're fun because you can turn them into a business that could be worth millions of dollars, and it's fun to build this platforms and things like that in the software off some of these ideas. So there's a site called flippa.com, which I guess you guys are probably all aware of, and that would get you a chance to, you know, build up a starter site, and you can sell that easily, and sometimes that can be worth much more than just selling a domain straight away. All right, so I'm going to teach you some of the top strategies of domain investing that I've seen on the horizon. People and what different use cases people have used with flipping domains, buying domains, and all of that. So we'll talk a little bit about those top strategies that I see out there. All right, I'm going to give you some tools for how to price your domains. All right, so just there's a number of tools out there. If you're new to this, these will be very helpful to you. If you've been buying domains for years, you're probably already aware of some of these tools, but getting the pricing right for set it and forget it, buy it now prices, that you want to try to get that right so you can basically sleep at night and make money throughout the year. So on autopilot once it's set up. Okay. I'm going to show you how to sell them for passive income. That's like what I was talking about, where you get a notification some morning and you just made $5 grand, $4 grand, $3 grand. It happens to me, and it's a lot of fun. It might, you know, not happen every day, every month. Depends on your inventory and how good it is. And I'm going to share you where to get some great domains at wholesale prices. All right. And I'm going to show you a software I built for myself that I am opening up early access to you today. But this isn't really a pitchy type of presentation. We're just going to show you some of the things that we've done. I built this software, so if for myself, if you guys like what you see behind the curtain and you like where it's going, feel free to take advantage of it today. We're going to have a special pricing just for attending this webinar. But again, I hope you get some tips here, because you can use all kinds of different tactics and things like that to get domains. And so we just want to talk about the principles of it and make sure that you understand how this all can work for you. All right, so the top strategies in the domain investing world, or domaining world, sometimes it's called. Okay, so the top strategies are buy and hold. Okay, this is where I'm going to tell you a story. Back when I was buying domains in the late 90s, you could get, crazy enough, some amazing domains. The price to buy them were actually higher at that point than they are now. And so a lot of people were like, wow, I got to pay this price every single year. And there was a lot of people that were like, that's crazy. I'm not paying 35 bucks a year for that, three-letter.com domain. And, literally a lot of people actually second, thought it a lot. Similar to like how people are with cryptocurrency, with Bitcoin, when it's, oh my goodness, it's 35K. Why would I ever buy that? And then it doubles to 60K, So you have to understand things that are undervalued assets and understand it before the rest of people. And that's really what this is all about, is undervalued assets. How many people out there, if you could put in the questions, how many people out there know of some undervalued assets here in 2021 that are digital assets? Domains are digital assets. There's only a limited number of very good domains out there. So tell us some digital assets you think are undervalued today, and if you had the money and you had the time, you'd snap up more of them. Go ahead and put it into the questions, because this is what it's all about: buying low, selling high. And sometimes buying low and selling high is a long game, and that's where you're playing this long game. It might be 10, 15 years before you want to time the market right to get out. So Steven says domains #1 and websites. Okay, very good. Anybody else has a digital asset that they think is undervalued today? What about NFTs? Do you think those are a fad? Do you think that NFTs will be seen as the early days of buying domains? What do you guys think of NFTs? What do you guys think of, the gold standard of crypto, like Bitcoin? What do you guys think of those things? Steven says, I don't have anything with NFT, hasn't done anything with NFT. Yep, definitely NFT prices are, all NFTs are not created equal, right? These are non-fungible tokens built on the blockchain, and people are attaching smart contracts on them, which allows to have like special privileges and have, royalties paid and all kinds of great stuff. And the technology, guys, is here to stay. The technology behind the blockchain and the technology behind NFTs are not going away. It's just who's going to be the winners and losers. We don't know, because back in the day when it was, what is that sound? Napster. Remember Napster, guys? Napster was out there. Nobody ever heard of Spotify, right? They thought Napster was going to the moon. Okay. Now, do you hear of Napster anymore? No. But the technology behind Napster, the idea of streaming, downloading music, all of that stuff kind of came from that concept. And so we know that this is what's going to happen, is going forward. Somebody says gold via voice over IP phone numbers. I collect 800 numbers. I have about 16,800 numbers that are toll-free 800, and I believe that those things are worth something. So yeah, that's definitely perhaps an undervalued asset, but the value of those kind of go down because less people are making long distance calls, but the perception of having a 1-800 number makes it look like your business's legacy. It looks like it's been around a while, right? Same thing as if you have a really good domain name, .com, what do you think that means, right? That means that you're a real company, right? Of course, you had to have, some decent capital behind you to get a really good .com domain. So a lot of this stuff is like status. You got a really good domain name, that helps your product. That helps what you're trying to sell. So that's why people in the secondary markets will buy a really good domain name, because it sets your business up for success, especially if it's a startup. Okay, this is probably the #1 way to make millions, is to buy high value domains, okay? And I'm talking domains worth millions of dollars of your investment, and selling it for a fraction more. So let's say you buy it for 5 million and you sell it for $10 million, okay? And so your net gain is $5 million. Well, guess how many domains I would have to sell at these, hand registration prices to actually make $5 million in 1 year, right? And some of these guys are making more than that with these high value domains. It's like if you bought in Beverly Hills a mansion, right? And the market was pretty good, or you buy it when the market's low, right? You buy a mansion in Beverly Hills when the market's not doing so well, and you just hold it. You maintain it and keep it up. Then when the market is at a critical point, you sell it for much more. And the vast difference in the price you bought it for versus the price you can sell it for is just huge, because it's a high value property, right? It's a property that's going to just raise up in value in the millions. So this is just average math, right? Anybody understands that if you buy like a really big dictionary word, or you got a group of investors to buy a dictionary word that was very marketable, .com or .whatever, those high value domains are always going to sell in the millions, because there's just a limited number of those domains. Amazon.com, right? Well, Amazon's a river, but they've turned it into a $1 trillion business. Apple.com, right? Those are dictionary high value item domain names that whether you flip it this year or you hold it for 3 or 4 years, you could literally make millions of dollars per year that you held on to it just by buying those high value domains. Okay, that's not the class I'm in at this point, but it's in the future, that's what I'd love to be able to be at that level. All right, active outreach. Okay, this is where you get your hands on a domain. Some of the people here we're talking about, they have like 50 domains or so, and they go out and they market it to other people with similar domains, okay? If you've been in the market domain space for a while, you get these outreaches via email all the time. Hey, I got a similar domain, do you want it? That kind of thing. I hate those kinds of things, but of course people are going to do it. And if you're out there and you've always been looking for, let's say, a geo domain, like let's say New York City lawyers or something like that, and you wanted that exact match domain, somebody reaching out to you and offering it to you for sale, you might be like, yeah, that's a killer domain. I want that for SEO purposes or whatever, for competitive advantage. So sometimes you'll welcome those kinds of things, but this is the strategy that some people have, is that they will go ahead and actively find buyers for a domain, okay? In that vein, some people will register people's names, first and last name.com and things like that. They'll find them become expired, and they'll find famous people, and they'll try to sell those back to them. You have to be very careful, because some of these people can basically sue that domain back out of you, because they've built themselves up a trademark, or their name is protected with a UDRP, which is like you get a warning that you have to pay a fee if you keep that domain, or you got to turn it over to somebody. So it's really important that you don't do shady stuff when you're dealing with other people's domain names, trademarks, things like that. You want to make sure that you're not infringing on somebody's trademark. So a little quick trademark search can help you out with that. And of course, just don't do the nasty stuff. That's what I just say, because it's going to bite you in the butt. All right, passive selling on marketplaces. Now, this is my favorite way to do it, because my focus is in on building apps, building software, and coaching people on MassPage and things like that. I don't have time to actively outreach. I don't really like to do that. Now, if I did that, or a third party did that, yeah, that would be great. But I like these marketplaces that help sell on your behalf. And we're going to talk a little bit about what those are coming up. And that's what I like. This is, they used to call it mailbox money. This is email money. All of a sudden you get them in a market and they say, oh, I got an offer for you for $1,700 for this domain. Do you want it? You can go back and forth with it and get them to a price point that you're comfortable with, and go ahead and sell it. And so those are some really cool laptop lifestyle types of situations. All right. And then there's the wholesale markup solution or concept for quick sales. This is where you buy something for $8, $9, right? $10, whatever your registration fee is. And then you quickly go and you sell it for $50, $75, $100, right? And you imagine, what kind of investor wouldn't want to trade 10x in a 2 or 3 day span of time, their money, okay? This takes a lot of work, but there are a lot of people that are successful at this low scale markup where they're selling multiples of domains for a markup of 10x that they hand registered. Hand register means that they just went to GoDaddy and just like registered the domain, right? And they got a real quick sale for it, right? I don't know of any business where you can get a 9-10x markup in a 2-3 day period of time. So there definitely is some fruit for thought with the wholesale markup concept for this as well. All right. Any questions so far in these top strategies? Go ahead and put it in the questions box. I'd be happy to answer them for you right now while we're at this point. Feel free to ask, tell us what your strategy is. We would love to know that, and what strategy you think is the one that you want to do with your domaining. All right. Steven says, oh, you're on a roll. Keep it going. All right. This Saturday, you guys want to get out of here, don't you? All right. All right. So here is the types of valuable domains that you should be aware of. And this is, for beginners, this might, be either way, this is pretty elementary here. Brandables are like catchy names that might not mean anything in the real world as far as dictionaries. It might be a modified dictionary term. It could be something that sounds like, whoever thought Verizon would be a brand, but I'm sure they had all the social media available to them when they changed Horizon to Verizon, right? So that's what makes something catchy and brandable. Like you just modify a name, right? And that's a really cool way of doing it. The other thing is exact match used to be a SEO strategy. I still think it works, especially if the domain is short. I think that it works for our site, mass.page. We rank very highly for the search term mass page because I believe our domain is as short as it could possibly be for that term. What we call is spans the dot, right? The two keywords are around the dot. And Google seems to like those kinds of things. If you had plumber.com, I think you would have a little bit of an advantage over other websites that were not that, okay? So exact matches are cool, and that's where you get some of those big dictionary terms that are worth boatloads of money. If you ever get your hands on one of those, you might be able to retire because some of those are just massive. Partial match, those are where you have a modifier. So you might have the keyword in there, but you might have like affordableplumber.com or localplumberquote.com, right? Where you have plumber quote in there, but you threw the word local on top of it, okay? So those are your partial matches. Those are pretty good domains, but you don't get too much money for those. but they are out there in the plenty. You can still get a lot of those. I'll show you. There's a lot of ways to get those. Geo-related domains, where you take city plus or state plus or county plus or country plus and whatever search term it is. It's a geo modifier. Again, if you can get the actual city name as a .com or something, you're going to make a lot of money possibly with that if it's a large city. But there's a lot of geo-related keywords that can be worth a lot of money. I'm not sure if I spelled the next one correctly, but investable domains. And those are domains that domainers like, okay? One of the things I realized is that domainers have a sort of type of domain that they like. And that's, sort of these partial match two-word domains that are hard to come by. They're right on point with what they mean. They're not like some kind of strange meaning, and they're like .coms. They're not like something else. And those are sort of the buy and hold kind of strategies. And those are, long-term, just like wait it out to see if you get a buyer down the road. You'll see a lot of those out there on some of the marketplaces where people they have a buy it now price over 5, 10K, but today I wouldn't buy it for that, but maybe in the future I would. So those are the kinds of things to look for. And then lastly is the SEO worthy domains. These are domains that have a high metrics to them. They could have backlinks, good quality backlinks. They could have high trust flow with majestic SEO backflow metrics. They could have high domain authority, with MAS and things like that. So there are different websites that help you to find those kinds of domains, and they're very helpful if you're trying to get a boost in maybe a launch that you're doing. You want a site that already has some backlinks. Maybe you're building a mass page website or a magazine website or something like that. And you want to make sure that you have some backlinks already and some traffic already coming through that domain. Well, guess what? That traffic, those backlinks belong to that domain. They exist as long as they're active. And so that gives some inherent value to the SEO worthiness of a domain, and it's really good to have. Now, somebody brought up, Stephen saw, what about dashes in domain names? See, this is the thing. To me, dashes makes a domain worth like a third less or even less than that. Having the real domain name, unless it's like a thing like I had rankandroll.com, okay, and it was an N in the middle and 2 dashes. So rank dash N dash roll.com, okay? And so that made sense, I thought, in that domain, because that you want to separate the A because it looks better, okay? So in that use case, I would say, yes, the dash looks better. We had a website before that was 1-800 disc jockey, and we bought the domain with 1-800 disc jockey because that was how some people would type it in, right? So that you get that type in traffic and you just forward it to the website. Okay, so you definitely want to make sure that you cover your bases for how people are likely to type in your domain. If it seems like a word that would have dashes in it, like e-trade or e-waste or something like that, you should buy both. You should have the e-waste and e-waste.com, right? All right, so that's something to consider. All right, so there are many tools to help you price these domains. Again, all of these tools are imperfect. I've seen AI tools. I've seen tools that do it based on traffic and statistics. I've seen it do it based on just an aggregation of data, which GoDaddy tends to do. And there's a whole lot of other tools that you can kind of go with a professional appraiser that can kind of appraise it and gives you a certification for the value, so you could actually perhaps take it as an asset to a bank and say this is what our company owns. These are certified appraisals from a professional domain appraiser, and these are real assets, right? These start to really have some value. Okay, so here are some of the tools. I just shortened this link for you with our link shortener, go.ht/domain worth. But this is the GoDaddy appraisal tool. You can just search it up online for yourself. And these typically are somewhere in between the wholesale price and the retail price. I usually find GoDaddy appraisals are lower than what I could get to an end user, but they are sort of at least an indicator that if you have to throw a bulk list through, you can kind of see, because it's based on real data for real sales. And GoDaddy, whether you feel good about them or not, they have the most data because they have a number of different unit registry. They have Afternic, all of these different companies that they've purchased for this data, and so they can kind of tell what these domains are selling for in the real world. Okay, but the thing is these sales data are mixed. You have some wholesale people buying, domainers and things like that, other domain investors buying at rock bottom prices on auctions and things like that. And then you also have the retail investor, retail end user that's, say, building a startup, all right, and they're willing to pay 35 grand for that website. The same one that the domain investor might pay $300 for, and that would be the limit. So you have to keep this all in mind, and definitely not go thinking these numbers are gospel. So definitely check this out. Another one that's really, I think, pretty good is Estabot. Now, Estabot kind of rules, I think, a little on the stingy side, but they have a lot of data. I think they give you a wholesale price, a retail price, a lot of other information based on their decisions, so of how they come up with these bulk appraisals. And it's, if you're doing this a lot, you want to have yourself an Estabot account just to get yourself a second opinion on these things before you go too heavy on it. Okay. Don't forget also, when you are ready to purchase something, to double check the trademark, because if the thing is trademarked, you really should, it's like a hot potato. You just want to get rid of it, and not keep it. Okay, these guys, nameworth.com, I like, but they really only do .coms, I think .nets. But their pricing is definitely more on the retail side, more on the end user side. And some of their prices are a bit, I think, a little bit high, but who am I to judge? They, they've given some pretty accurate readings from some bulk appraisals that I would throw in there, and I was like, wow, this is pretty good. So one of my favorites is Nameworth, but it's sort of just if you took the mix of these three and kind of averaged them together, you'd have a pretty good idea of what your domain is worth. Okay. A runner-up here is this PC.domains. These guys are using AI apparently to figure out what the domain is worth. Again, another opinion. It's another piece of information. Sometimes it's pretty accurate. Sometimes when you take a look at like a site that has a lot of traffic and has a lot of backlinks, this is not a good tool for that. It doesn't really scan what the actual metrics are of the site, and I think that some of the other tools do take a look at that. So, all right, and the other great tool that's out there is namebio.com. This is a terrific website, worth buying a membership to if you can afford it, and that gives you sort of like comparables of what these domains have sold for in the past. These are actual like data points of actual sales. Again, you're going to get people that bought at the wholesale level that'll get reported here, so you're going to see ups and downs, but it gives you an idea if you're going to head to trying to sell it to a retail investor or a I shouldn't say retail investor, I would say like a startup or end user. This kind of can give you an idea of the top limit and the lower limit to kind of base your prices on. Once you get your prices in to say Afternic or some of these other platforms I'm going to talk about, you should set, I think, some things at buy it now prices, and then have a floor so that they can negotiate on your behalf. So put the buy it now price at a price that you're like really happy if they just walked away at that price with your domain. Then put your floor at, you know, if it would just hurt a little bit to sell at that point, put it at the floor and let them work on your behalf. But I like to buy it now program. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll do a buy it now on Afternic, and I'll put on the other program, Dan.com, is where I throw the other stuff. I put it as make a offer, okay? And sometimes that works out good because sometimes people will give an offer more than you thought, and that's always a good thing, all right? So these are the places where you can sell for what we call bin prices, buy it now prices. Afternic, GoDaddy has the biggest market of websites, and they have premium listings as well. I think that you can get it onto more sites to help sell it. So if you have some really good domains that are worth more, I would go ahead and put it, make sure it's on the premium network. If you have a lot of domains, just talk to your rep. I have a rep at GoDaddy that works with me, so I can just say, you know, look, I need a favor on this, or you know, whatever, and they're usually pretty good about that. Dan.com used to be called undeveloped.com. Those are a good place to go. There's also these brandable marketplaces. So if your site is brandable, let me just show you a friend of mine's site. So these are all domains that he has that are brandable. If you notice, they're not exact matches or partial matches, right? These are just kind of some interesting names. Well, this company, Squad Help, is going to make a logo for them and set these prices. So you'll see these prices will register for probably $8, and most of them are, you know, over $2,000 in what they'll sell them for on this platform, right? Some are over 5,000, 3,000, things like that. And they handle everything for you. So if you get some good brandables, you can submit them to some of these companies, and they will go ahead and there's Brand Bucket and Brand Paw, and there's other ones as well. They'll make a determination whether it fits their marketplace. They'll make the logo for it. Some of them require like a $5 fee per domain to have the logo made and stuff. So it's worth checking out. I don't do a whole lot like this because I find that sometimes they don't sell as well as making sure that they're an Afternic. But I did notice just yesterday that Squad Help has an output for all your domains in there to send it right to Afternic, and they just add a 20% fee or something like that, so that they get paid, so you can have it on Afternic and Squad Help at the same time, which sounds really good to me. Cedo has been around a long time, for sure. They are a big network, but just not as big as Afternic, GoDaddy. But I see a lot of people selling on there. Epic.com, they're a little bit lower on my list, but I heard that they've had a breach and stuff. So make sure on all of these platforms that you keep different passcodes and PIN numbers and all that kind of stuff, and use two-factor authentication for sure, because you just want to definitely be super, super careful not to lose one of these expensive domains. If your whole collection is on there and you've used your password on all of them, one breach through one of these sites could have all of your domains taken, especially if you don't have that two-factor on your accounts, okay? And then there's online auctions. Online auctions, you can get listed on some of these liquidation places, and let's say, for instance, you're going to delete some domains coming up in 2 or 3 months. You can put them on a liquidation, and let's say you just get, you know, $30 for it. Well, it's better than just deleting it and getting nothing for it altogether. There's some various people that are in the domain community that just watches over all of these auctions and looks for names and just, you know, grabs them real quick on the cheaps. So these are some of the things you might want to take a look at. Okay. All right, so where to buy at wholesale prices? I like GoDaddy auctions. I think that the bargain, what do they call it? The there's like a bargain bin or something like that, where things are priced at $5 or a little bit more. You can just set your pricing for what you're comfortable with in expireddomains.net, the next one here, and use GoDaddy auctions and go through. And I'll show you that coming up in our demonstration. But GoDaddy auctions is a great place to get them, but there's also these other marketplaces. Just go to the marketplace tab on expireddomains.net and check out the auctions and closeouts on the various tabs inside there. And I'll demonstrate that once we go to the live screen. The other thing is Clubhouse is an app. If you're not aware of it, I think it's joinclubhouse.com or join.club or something like that. Don't quote me on that. I'm on Clubhouse, Daryl.club, and they have various domain auctions. There's one called Domamba, and I think that's the main one that's out there right now. And you can buy things at wholesale prices on there. They just basically put it out there. They put things out for bid, and sometimes they'll go for a few $100s, sometimes $50. It just depends on what the reserve is. But if you're trying to buy or sell, you can get on some of these auctions on Clubhouse and possibly move that domain. And so that brings up another point: is where do you keep your registrations, right? I have domain registrations at most of the platforms, because what happens is if you are on the same platform as the person you're buying the domain from on the secondary market, it gets transferred to you much faster and easier, and there's less limitations. Some platforms will limit you on how quickly you can resell it once it transfers in, and they'll limit you on how long it takes more time, things like that. So I just like to, if they're on GoDaddy, I want them to push it to my GoDaddy account. If they're on Dynadot, I want to be able to send it right to my Dynadot account. So, and there's some various programs that you can actually keep track of all your domains all in one place. So we can talk about that some other time. All right, the other thing is once you get to know some domainers, and there's a great way to get to know them on Clubhouse and some of these forums and things, you can ask them if you can buy or see their list of domains, and maybe you could buy in bulk or trade some domains with them. Sometimes that's a lot of fun to do as well. So yeah, so Stephen was asking what's the Clubhouse link. I think it's just join.club. I'm not sure, let me just see. Join.club. Nope, let's see. Yeah, that is it, yep. Join.club. It's clubhouse.com, it looks like. All right, so yeah, it's definitely, there's a lot of domainers on there dropping knowledge bombs, and there's some legends in the industry on there as well, talking about domains. So you'll definitely pick up some nuggets there as well. All right, so how do I grab good domains for investment and resale? I'm going to demo the process, and I'll let you see what tools I use and how I would do it. So let's see if I scale out of here. This is that pc.domains, and here is the GoDaddy appraisal tool, and you just put the domain name in there, and here's your estimate, and here's name worth, and you can just put your domains in here, and you can see what these are worth. I just put these in here just a test to see, and these aren't necessarily domains that I own. But anyway, where we're going to get started is here with expireddomains.net. So expireddomains.net is sometimes a really good tool for grabbing some good domains. I used it for years before I built my own tool, and there's some definitely some very useful systems. So when I'm searching for domains, my interests are different than yours. So it could be based on a niche, it could be based on a type of word. So it's good for you to kind of write down the different words that you're going to try to go for, and the types of sounds of, what types of extensions you want, what kind of, domain you want, how long you want it to be. Like, think about that ahead of time before you go on here, okay? And then what you can do is I usually typically go on deleted.coms, okay? And there's 2.6 million domains that are on here, okay? So you can set up the columns of here of your expireddomains.net, okay, in the column manager, okay? And there's a whole lot of different columns that you can put in here, okay? So once you get this set up, let me just show you the way I have it set up so you guys can kind of see. And it tells you, I'll just let you take a screenshot of that. All right, let me hold it here. You guys can take a screenshot of this side right here. Okay, and then I'm gonna move down a little bit further and then look at this section there. All right, these are what I'm searching for, but it gives you an idea of the different tabs that they're on for other tools for you. So over here is the tabs of where you would find them. That's over here. You just hit the plus, and then you hit the check mark. You hit the plus here, then you hit the check mark to the column you would like to add. Okay, so that's how I got my collection of domain tools. Okay, and this is just an amazing tool that they offer, and it's free. You know, free for now, so use it while you can. So some of the things I look for is I like short domains. Okay, they've always sold well for me. I like them for my own use. So when I go into the filter, okay, there's a couple of things I'm going to do right away. I'm going to hit only characters. So that means no dashes. And I'm going to put my length at like 12 or 13. Let's just do 13. Okay. That's the main thing. I typically don't do the English word too much. You're welcome to. But I typically don't do that because sometimes I just want a brandable. So I just want to be able to look at it, okay? The next thing I do is because I want to hand register these things, I just want to buy them. I'm just going to go on only available domains. And I'm going to set this to 200 so I get the most domains per page, okay? All right. Now, the other thing is every day around 2 to 3 o'clock Eastern time, you will get the latest domains, okay? So when I'm really hungry for good domains, I will hit this right here, only in the last 12 hours, and I'll do this between 2 and 6 p.m. Eastern time, okay? And what this is gonna do, if that list has been updated, let's see if it has been. Doesn't look like so. Maybe they've changed the time. Let's go to 24 hours. Maybe I clicked on something. Let's see here. Only domains. Yeah, check some of these other tabs and make sure you're clear. I'm going to reset the form here. And we're going to go to just one thing here, show filter. Just going to do only in the last 12 hours. And let's take a look. All right. So we have 92,000 in the last 12 hours. And then if you look at this, you can see that these, this is like UTC, I believe, or some other time zone. I'm not sure what this is, 18, so 2 hours before. But these are dropping right away. So if you go ahead and you look at this number 92136, and we're gonna refresh it. So nothing new has been dropped in there. So it's good, possibly, that we have the whole list for this batch that comes through, okay? This is just for the .coms. It's like that in a batch, okay? And then I'm going to go ahead and click on only, not only numbers. We've done, let's see. Oh, okay, that was only numbers. Jeez, guys, why didn't you tell me that? No numbers, no characters. They had those down below before. So, all right, so we didn't have any only numbers. All right, so we're going to make this 13 characters. And we're going to go ahead and hit apply. All right, something's happening here. No characters. Oh, we don't want that. No hyphens. No numbers. Why did they change that? There we go. All right. Now we're looking at stuff that I would buy. All right, so 42,000 fit that criteria. Sometimes what I'll do real quick to just really get a handle on this is I'll hit trust flow. And I'll see, okay, here's some that have a trust flow of 24. not sure what these are about, but you can look over here at the different trust flow categories. This is shopping jewelry. So if you're building a site for that, you could probably grab that because it just came on board there. Here's one on society. I don't like these domains. I want them to look like authoritative domains. They're kind of gobbledygook, but yeah, you can take a look there. If you look at citation flow, CF, and this is sort of that first scan because these are the ones that go by really fast. People grab these in a heartbeat if they have traffic and they have high citation flow and trust flow. The SEO people will snag these up. So this is the first thing you want to look at. All right. I don't really buy a lot of these, but you can kind of see some of these metrics. Sometimes if you hit DMOZ, you can see sites that have DMOZ, and then you could go into the Wayback Machine and you can see things that go back to the 90s. And then you can kind of look through and look for different terms and things that you would go through. Now, these are a lot. There's 42,000, right? So it's good if you use the filter to kind of use a word. So if you're going to put in plumber, we put it in plum just to see what happens, right? Because that gets you plumber, plumbing, right? And then you can kind of take a look at these and say, okay, where do I get any trust flow? I don't. How do I get some age? Well, this goes back, let's see, to 2020, 2019. So these are not that old. And then I use this SUS, which is your search count. Hopefully I'm not going too fast, but I'm looking here, Plum Planner, okay. Could be a brand, right? It could be just like a plum icon and be like a planner for somebody. And it looks like it's got 6.6 thousand searches and 1.88 cost per click. So somebody's using that term somehow. So that's one to possibly look at. All right. The other thing I do is if I'm looking for something, I'll put like IFY or LY or something like that. All right. And I'm just looking for brandables. All right. So this is cool. The LE, if you shorten it, you would see the shortest ones here. Okay. And so if you go down through, you could see various ones that might end with IFY that you'd be interested in. Okay. It just stands out to you. All right. Whenever you buy, now here's a tip. Whenever you buy a domain, make sure you look at it with capitals and without capitals, because some of these have a capital letter between the words, so you can see how the word would be. But you should also look at it for what it would look like inside the URL bar, okay? Because that's how most people are going to see it. And if it looks stupid, if it's just one of those words that kind of have a double meaning, if you break up part of the word or it just doesn't meet the radio test, which means you could just kind of say it and somebody knows how to spell it, or somebody knows how to get to the site, you want to be very careful about that. So you want to have these domains that are just very, very simple to type in, very easy to mention over the phone or on the radio or on a podcast or somewhere, or on your social media posts, and somebody gets it. They can just type it in because they heard it, right? It's recognizable and all of that. All right, so that's that. Now, one of the things I wanted to talk about while we're on that topic here is, my name is Daryl, right? So I have Daryl.club on Clubhouse. Now, what does that mean? Well, why would I do that? Why would I spend a little bit of money to get Daryl.club? Well, because I put that as my handle on Clubhouse, and if anybody needs to get a hold of me, they just go into Daryl.club, and it will go to my link tree. And it basically has all the different projects I'm on, how to join my email list, and all my social media channels and stuff like that. So this is how I just forward it. So anybody that goes to Daryl.club gets to go to all of my stuff. If they're trying to reach out, they can see the domains I have for sale, etc., and so forth. But I also, went a little nuts because I noticed the first names for things go pretty fast, and they sell for more money. So of course, I have these: Daryl.sale, Daryl.pics, Daryl.photo, Daryl.partners, Daryl.news, Daryl.media, Daryl.domains, Daryl.coupons, Daryl.cash. I'm gonna send that to my Venmo. Daryl.photos, Daryl.video, Daryl.vip, Daryl.tools, Daryl.link, Daryl.shop. Okay, went a little crazy. However, in the future, when I'm doing some kind of a VIP program, I want to brand myself as somebody they know, somebody they know. It's instead of just like having a separate business, right? I'm personally talking to you right now. So if I wanted you to join my VIP plan, I could use this as a short link to just forward to my VIP sign up plan, right? Now, if I wanted to get all my videos off of YouTube, right? And I could put it on a page called Daryl.video. And now when I'm just in talking or I'm on a podcast or just, have an opportunity to just talk to somebody, I could just say, go to Daryl.video. All they have to do is know how to spell Daryl and they know they want my videos, right? So this is using these domains to brand yourself so that it's very short. If I say go to https or www.daryl.domains, right? That somebody gets that. They know how to spell domains, right? It's a very short domain. So these are for the future. I'm buying these because I believe in my brand, okay, that it's my name. And I just fortunate that my name was available for all of these different things. You might not be able to do that if your name is Mike or something, but it doesn't have to be that way. It could be some kind of unique name that is just you, and it could be your handle on your social media and things like that. And you can use it just to draw people to a specific place. It's like a little bookmark, okay? And so that's something to keep in mind. That's why I have them. It's for the future, and don't plan to use them all at once. But over time, I'll start to find a purpose for different ones, right? If I'm fortunate to live that long. So, all right. So that's how I do this, guys. So I'll go through. I like sometimes for brandables because that's my favorite. I'll put like LY, and I'll take a look at these, and I'll look for a cool domain that ends with LY. Okay. And why go fly? I don't know. Dash alley. Go skyfly. Now, if you had a website about skydiving, that could be kind of fun, right? Go skyfly. So this is how I do it, guys. And I do this when I don't need a domain, okay? Because you're not under pressure to buy a single domain when you look like this, okay? Literally, you spend 20 minutes a day, you find one or two, or you find none at all, and you do nothing when you find nothing at all. You just don't do anything, right? And then when you really do need a domain, or you need to sell some domains, you have some assets that are ready to go. So if I absolutely had to, I could cut the price in some of my domains and just actively try to sell them, right? Because they're a digital asset. All right. So that's what I tell you is to make sure that when you're getting domains that you are being practical. And then the other suggestion is to not be impressed with any of your creativity because your creativity and ego can get you into so much trouble with buying domains. I can't even begin to tell you. If you think in your head that you've got the best idea for some 18-letter domain, it's better to go at it with the thought process of, let me check this with a few people and see if they think the same thing. Because if you just go buying, like I've seen people just because cannabis domains are selling or NFT domains are selling, they'll buy the stupidest inventory of these domains and just hope that with the numbers, they're all going to work out. But I've literally seen people flush down the toilet 2,000 domain names in the cannabis industry because they're absolute garbage, right? They're hoping that they're going to get 2 or 3 winners and that's it. I just don't think that that's good practice. I think if you spend some time and being very, very picky about what domains you buy, you'll do much better in the end because a domain that is worthless, like worth 0, is worth less than 0. It's worth negative $10 per year, right? Do you want an asset that's worth negative $10 a year times 2,000? No, you don't. All right. So be super, super picky about what domains you're willing to let into your group of domains, and check it with other people. Say, here's my short list for today. Here's whatever you shortlisted, and then check it with some other people and see if if it makes sense to them. Show it to them all lowercase, show it to them upper lowercase, show them in different ways of seeing it, and go from there. And the other idea is when you go to like BrandPaw, let's go to brandpaw.com. These guys are a bit more choosy about what domains I think that they put in here, but you can kind of get some ideas of what ones are working the best, and then look at the ones that got recently sold. Okay, so you can go down through here and you see, I mean, I don't know why this one sold, that one sold, but take a look at in the big picture of which ones are selling, and keep yourself informed of what catchy names are selling. Okay, because otherwise you can just find yourself buying a lot of garbage. And like I said, you just want to be very careful about that. Hope that's clear to everybody. All right, so now this is how I've done it for years. This is how I've checked for domains. Now today I'm going to show you my tool that we created with my development team, and this is something that is very, very new. It's called DomainKicks.com. And if you go to DomainKicks.com, you'll come to a sign up page or login page, and you just click here to sign up for a new account. You put in your information here, okay, and you go ahead and sign up, and then it takes you to a payment plan, okay. So right now we have it says euros, but it's actually in dollars. The $97 plan we're currently selling for $47, okay, per month. And then the lifetime plan is also there, and that's for $497 right now. That will go up once all of the features are in the program. So once you buy the one time, you have the one time plan, okay? So that's just a high level, but let me show you first what it does. And you won't have all of these things at the top. These are just like management things, right? But when you go in here and you click the logo, it's going to put various terminology in here, okay? So every single time, it just gives you some ideas of some, prepends, some appends, and some primary keywords. So the primary keywords are like the main keyword that you're searching for, and the append is what would come after it, and the prepend is whatever is before that. So it'd be the word before. So what you could do is, like, if you had a list of US cities, let's put in like NYC, Miami, all right, and you just have them over to the side. You just clear those things out, and you can just put in Dallas, right? And you just have them all in here, and then you hit your .com, or you can select all of them, and we're going to have it so that you can add more of your own here. You'll be able to add your own prepend list, your own append list, right? And we're just going to do these three here that just came up, just for sake of a better term. You would put whatever you want in there. All right, so if you go ahead and you hit search, this is going to use Dynadot API, okay? And so it's exclusive to you. So when you sign up, you're going to have to go to Dynadot. You don't have to have your domains there or anything like that. You just grab the API and put it inside your account. And so everything is private. We don't know what you're searching for or anything like that. This is all directly between you and that API, all right? So you can see right now, these are what's available, okay, out of these terms. I would, obviously I would be searching these keywords, but you can put any set of keywords in here and go check it out. So let's say you put like solar, and you put plumbing, and you put HVAC, and then you put over here prices, quotes, directory, right? And you just do a search. Now the prepend doesn't have to be the cities. It could be anything you want. It could be anything at all. Okay, and it'll take several hundred of them. So the thing is you can put about 100 in each of these and just walk away and come back, and you'll find some really cool things. But what I want to show you is once you do get something that's a bit, and it's also checking the combinations of these. So even though they're all there, it's going to check NYC Solar as well. And it's going to check NYC Solar prices. All right. So here's nycsolarprices.com. All right. nycplumbingprices.com. I mean, some of these are, starting to take shape. Okay. To things that you might want to check. All right. So like, let's say for instance, we'll check the values on these. We're gonna have it so that you can check right in the tool what the appraisal is for these from our platform. And you'll be able to register and all that kind of stuff directly in here, all right? But if you go over here and you're looking and you see these little check boxes, this is what one of the top pieces of thing that we have in here is that when you click on this, like say solar directory, right? I want this to be added to what I call my dream list. So Dallas Plumbing and Solar Directory. I'm going to add it to my dream list. It says, are you sure? And we're going to say, yep. So now when I have my dream list, you can go up here and you can see all of these domains are being checked on a regular basis. Okay. So I'm not sure what today is, the 18th. So these were just checked. Okay. And if one of these become available at any time during the day from my dream list, it will go ahead and alert me via email. Now these things could happen because somebody just deleted their accounts. Somebody dies or ends up in the hospital or whatever, they just close their account. All these things just become available. It doesn't become on a drop catch list or anything like that. So you're able to put your dream list and put as many on there as you need to, and they're constantly being checked and monitored for you to see if they become available. Okay, so I think that's what I wanted this for, is because I wanted to make sure that I had a list of domains that if they did become available, I'd get my hands on them before anybody else. All right, so that's one of the top features. We're going to have more features. Obviously, these lists are going to be nice because you'll be able to put in your own lists so that you can just keep randomizing it and just keep searching for various combinations, just by clicking and rinse and repeating and that kind of thing. All right. So does anybody have any questions on DomainKicks? It's just a tool that I built because I really like the idea. Let's say, for instance, if I just put in Daryl, right? If I was just looking, and then I just did select all, and then I went down here and put in .cc, and then I put .ht, and we just go ahead and search. This will go out and search any list. So you could have any list of domain extensions that you want. We just put some of the more popular ones up at the top. All right. And Daryl.site is available. So guys, don't get that. I'm going to go get it. No, just kidding. This will go ahead and tell you what's available on all of the keywords. So you put your main keyword in here and you go ahead and select what domain extensions you want to check against. That isn't the most, the most important part is that you can combine lists like this and it'll do all the different combinations for you real quickly. And you can come back to it and see what you kind of caught. So I'm using this more than I'm using expireddomains.net. I found some really killer domains with this thing. Sometimes I kick myself as to why I'm sharing this with other people, but I just kind of believe in that. So what goes around comes around. So I just wanted to demonstrate it and what it does behind the curtain. If you're interested, let me just go and I'll show you what we've done for you today. So DomainKicks Unlimited is showing up as a standard plan. We're going to upgrade you to the unlimited plan when that comes out. That means that you don't have any limits on how many domains you could have on your dream list. The standard or the lower plans will have limits on how many will actually go on your dream list. Okay. We have an early bird lifetime deal. If you go to go.ht/LTDKicks, that's LTD Kicks for a one-time $4.97. You can get that, or you can go right to the website, DomainKicks.com, sign up for an account, and that link is directly there, and it'll get you taken care of. Now, one caveat, we are having problems with emails going to spam from the sign-up process. If you have any issues like that, just go ahead and message me at daryl.chat. See, there I go again, daryl.chat, and we'll go ahead and get it straightened out for you. The developer is working on it, so we'll get that all straightened out so you get that. All right. Question from Pat. He says, any way to get the tools to automatically buy when one of your dream list domains become available? We could do that down the road if that's a feature request from you, Pat. Go ahead and just send it to me on daryl.chat. We'll go ahead and add it to our roadmap, and we'll see what we can do for you. It certainly would be an optional thing that you could set. Maybe when you set the domain, you could say, this one I want to be automatically purchased if it's available. All right. Tony says, what other tabs do we get that was at the top of DomainKicks? Most of those other tabs are just for profile setup, your payments and things like that. I have some other things on there like the users and what packages we have and things like that. You're seeing the admin account. So we have some other features in there that you won't have, but the basics of what I showed you is what you'll have, Tony. All right. Steve asked, I was looking at your mass page software suite. If we get the enterprise package, would this be included as well? No, it's actually not. This is not a mass page tool. We have sort of a line of people inside our group that followed us from videos about domaining. We do offer you Leads Detective inside of the group, which you can use for selling your domains actively. That is included in the enterprise plan, but because this is a domain tool, we're actually going to make a bunch of domain tools that are just separate just for domainers, because that's sort of another interest of mine. So it isn't available for mass page tools. However, in the future, we're going to have a suite of tools for people that are buying domains. Okay, so and I'll tell you what, Pat, if you buy the lifetime deal for this, this is DomainKicks is going to be the main product. So the new domain tools that we give you, you'll get a membership for those as well. So you can quote me on this. We'll put this on YouTube, and you can always bring it back. So if you do decide to go with the lifetime deal on the early bird, because you believe in this product, we'll go ahead and give you the other domain tools that we build in the future. We have a lot of ideas for this, so. All right, let's see. Yeah, is SMS available when the domain becomes available? We're going to be adding that as a feature, Stephen. Stephen asked that question. Will we have it text you when the domain is available? Yeah, we can definitely do that. Tommy says, can you show more on what you want to do with DomainKicks in the future? Yes. So on DomainKicks, one of the things is we're working with some other data right now, and we're trying to figure out our own valuation of what we think domains are worth, especially if it has any kind of link history and stuff. Trying to strike the balance between SEO domains and just what the brand is worth. And so we'll have that coming out soon. It'll be inside the platform. The other thing I would like to do is build a Chrome extension. We have some ideas of what we can do right on the page for that. So we're working with the developer about some of these ideas, and The automatic purchasing, we're definitely looking at other things like backlinks, how many backlinks the thing has, and domain authority and all that kind of stuff. We're trying to get all that right on the site. So when you see a domain, you can see that value. The other thing is for the domains that are on your dream list, we want to have the estimate automatic. So the actual appraisal will always be there. So that gets updated all the time. All right. It's not in euros. John, the developer, we used a piece of code that we used he used on another site that had euros on it. It's actually in dollars. It's not in euros. So when you actually purchase it through Thrivecart, it will be in dollars, not euros. Steve says, in the past we've talked about enterprise packages include all the software releases, but these are not mass page tools. These are more for domaining. We might change our mind down the road, but I don't think that's going to happen because I've always intended that you get all of our mass page tools. Any piece of software that I build for another customer or for another partner, if it's not a mass page tool thing, like let's say for instance, Steve, Mass Website Builder, okay? That is a tool that has other partners. It's not something I built under the Mass Page Tools thing. So I think you're taking that a little too far there. We're building like ImageFly. We're building other tools like that. I have another one that's coming out. Can't announce the name of it yet, but it's going to help with mass page and rankings. And it's a really cool program. So that will be coming out. That'll be also for mass page tools. So believe me, you got plenty more to come for mass page tools. It's just that this is sort of for the domainer friends of mine. How long does the deal last, David? I perceive it's about 10 days on this lifetime price. We're adding more and more features, so you're getting in and trusting it while it's young. And so you'll be lucky to get access to this now with these prices because it won't be this way in the future. All right. Yeah, Stephen Brocklehurst, my buddy from the Sunday show, he's been lucky to use this, and all you need to do is to flip a domain to get your investment back, and it's a no-brainer. Yeah, I love it. I built this as a person that buys domains on a daily basis, and it's a great tool for that. And we're adding more and more things to just make it easier. Whenever you look for software, find software that people are using themselves, and you will go ahead and you'll find a dedicated product. Something that's not being just like sold and dumped. So I'm not like that. I go ahead and I support all of this stuff because I'm using it. We use the mass page products ourselves. We use the domain product here. I use Leads Detective all the time. I use Geoholics all the time in my business. So ImageFly is going to be incredible what that does. And again, if you're a mass page enterprise user, you'll have ImageFly when that comes out. You're going to have the new product that's coming out for SERPs, search engine rankings. That's kind of an SEO product, but I'm including that for enterprise plans. So the code name for that is Serpify, and so that will be coming out eventually here. All right. Any other questions for me? DomainKicks is a great tool. I suggest that you collect yourselves your favorite prepends and appends and keywords. If you're going to get access to this, you'll be able to eventually put your own in instead of having ours just automatically rotate in. But you can always clear ours out and put yours in very easily. We just did it to kind of get your thought, to see things. We might have them just blank when you first go to the page, and then hit a button to actually add things in there so that you throw some ideas your way. It's just to get some little creativity of what you could possibly look up and maybe some industries you hadn't thought of. and there's billions of combinations. I loaded the list myself, so some of the combinations won't be very good, but once in a while you'll find a winner with that tumbler, and you'll see that. Okay, so just to sum up what you're seeing on the screen right now, DomainKicks Unlimited is right now 47 euros. It's really dollars, and that's per month. It's going up to 97 once we finish these completion of the things here. And anybody that's signed up before that date will be knocked up to unlimited. Okay, so your plan will cover the unlimited access to the dream list. Okay, so all the notifications on as many domains as you want to check. Again, caveat is you have to get your Dynadot free API key. It's a free key. You just need an account. We show you, we're gonna have a video on there to show you how to get it, but it's otherwise very easy. Just log in, get your account, and look for the API key, unlock it. You don't have to put what domain name or anything. You just go ahead and grab the key and put it into your account, and then that's yours. That all of your searches go through there, and you don't have the worry about somebody else taking up your bandwidth or anything like that. You get access to the fastest it can go for your searches. It does take some time. Because it is a free API, it kind of doesn't go super fast like you've seen on other systems, but it does a good job because you can mix and match these domain names and set it and forget it, go get a cup of coffee, and come back. So, all right, awesome, guys. Well, again, I want to thank you guys for being here. If there's any other questions, go ahead and reach out to me at daryl.chat. If you have any issues whatsoever, daryl.chat or support@mass.page, and or just daryl.chat is probably the best way. And we'll go ahead and get it sorted for you. So, like I said, some people are not getting the message for their to approve their email. If you have that problem, reach out to me at daryl.chat, because we're trying to find out who's not getting it and what might have happened. So, all right. Well, that's it. I just hope you guys got some value out of this. Again, it's all about, undervalued assets. Where are the undervalued assets? It could be all over the place. It could be real estate. It could be, digital real estate. It could be, leads. You might find a source for leads that you're paying $20 for, but you can sell them for $150 reliably, right? So that's what it's all about. Your email list, some of the engaged email list is an undervalued asset. It takes a little work to get an engaged email list, but it works. It just works, okay? So always be looking for what is the undervalued asset of the day. How do you buy low? How do you sell high? And how do you time the market so that you are making sure that you're selling where it makes sense to sell? I had a CD collection as a DJ, and I think I missed the window of opportunity to sell those CDs to collectors because everything went digital all at once very quickly, and people didn't really want to have hundreds of CDs. They would rather have vinyl, or they'd rather have the digital file. So you got to time the market. You got to make sure that you're doing buy low, sell high, and try never to do it the other way around. And find some really good domains. Don't fall in love with what you find initially. Make sure you check it with other people first and see what they think. Do they agree? And make sure they're in the know of that industry, because it might be something that you just can't ask your spouse or something if it's something they've never seen before. But maybe ask some other people that are in the industry of buying domains and say, would you be interested? Is this a domain that you think you'd pay over 100 for, or over 500 for? And so just don't fall in love with your choices right away, guys. Make sure that you take the time to be stingy about what passes your approval, and so you don't get stuck with a bunch of domains that just cost you money versus makes you money. All right. Well, again, thank you for joining us for this webinar. If you have any questions, go to daryl.chat. Be happy to answer them for you, and have yourself a wonderful, wonderful day.